Hi guys, I thought I'd talk to you about driving. So if you have dyspraxia, you probably know that driving isn't the easiest. It took me 3 times to pass my driving test, and I'll explain the 2 times twice that I failed as well in this video when it comes up. So yeah, so spatial awareness is not great. I was lucky enough that my driving instructor had a reversing camera, which I didn't use to start with. So basically she told me that I had to learn to use my mirrors and everything beforehand, and then I could use the mirror, could use the camera. And the point was I didn't ever want to try and use this camera because I was aware that my first car would never have that camera in it, because I was going to get a crappy first car. My dad had already told me basically that I was going to get a crappy first car, and I was happy with that because I crashed it. I didn't like crash it, but I scratched the whole side of it. So it was lucky I didn't get a good car, because I would have been devastated and I would have cried more than I did when I scratched my little, must have been like 10-year-old, what was it, Corsa? Yeah, so if I hadn't known, I would have been devastated. So yeah, spatial awareness. I can never tell how far away I am from things. I'm alright now because I've had my car for like 2 years, so now I can judge pretty well how close I am behind and in front. I still leave, to anyone else, the gap behind me would probably still be large. The one in front is quite small, but that's because I can see my bumper. But the sides, I have no perspective of how wide it is, and literally I had to once ask someone to watch me out of a space. So my car was in here and there was 2 cars here, and all I had to do was drive in the middle, but I had to get a guy to watch to make sure that I wasn't going to hit them, and he literally like laughed his ass off because he said like he could have stood both sides, he was that far away from each car. Yeah, but I didn't know that and I couldn't do it, and it stressed me out. But yeah, spatial awareness, if you can get like cameras, would obviously be better. But honestly, I just ask people, and I know it's kind of embarrassing, but I just ask people to help me. Once, has nothing to do with spatial awareness, but I was doing so badly at trying to do a hill start in my first car. I literally just passed my test and for some reason decided that I would park on a hill like this, like doing a hill start, because I was like, I can do hill starts now, instead of parking that way on the hill. And then it was so bad that a man came out of his garden and asked if I needed help, and the answer was yes, and I've never been so thankful for a man that I've not known to come up to me and ask if I need help. And I learnt my lesson, and I do not park on hills unless I absolutely have to now. James drives her insane because basically his parents' house is on a hill and that's where I was parking, so I was parked that way, and now he laughs at me every time because I drive past the space and come back down. He's like, why do you always do this? I'm like, no, this hill is not getting the best of me again. Yeah. So spatial awareness. Oh, this is where I was going to say how I failed my first driving test. My spatial awareness is not great, so I hit a curb. The man said that if there was a pedestrian, he would have had to grab the wheel because I was that far over the curb and he could see it from a mile off, and I could not, and mounted the pavement for a while. Bad memory. This one gets me every time. So I'll just be like driving somewhere and forget, or it'll tell me try and in blah blah blah, turn 200 yards in 200 yards, turn left, and I'll literally be like, what? I've literally got to keep looking at the map every second. I'm like, where am I going? Even if it's straight on, I really like freak out. I'm not great with dreading. I'm not too bad actually, but yeah. Being forgetful, forgetting where I am. I forgot, having a bad memory. I forgot what I've actually wrote down again. I should stop blabbering, sorry. Yeah, so in my driving test, my second one, this is where I failed the second time, I forgot that I was in second 3 times. 3 times! I did it twice in the exact same place. I did it once and I couldn't start on a hill, and I was like, oh my god, this is like flashbacks of my nightmare. I'm stuck, I can't do it, I'm stuck on this hill and he's not going to help me, obviously, and now I've I know that I failed because I've already stalled once, and I did it again, and I was like, I don't even know how I'm gonna get off this. And then he was like, yes, you're in second, mind. I was in second, and then I did it again later on in the test. I was in second again. The worst. I've never felt so stupid in my life. But I never forget anymore. I'll stop at a light, change into first, and then I'll wait, and then I'll change into first, and then I'll change into first, and then before I go I'll change into first again, because no, I always check on my first now, because it freaks me out, to the point of now, it kind of hinders me as well, because sometimes I can be in second and I'll just be like, first, and then my car will be like, at me, so it's not the best idea, but that's what I do. This one's not a thing that I technically did wrong, but this is something you should definitely do if you're reading this and you haven't sat your driving test yet, is ask the actual rules. For instance, what used to be like this, you go yeah, that's not a 3 point, you don't have to do it in 3 points anymore, you can literally do this. Technically, they probably would mark you down for taking too long doing that, but you don't have to do it in 3 anymore, it's just a turn in the road. If you could do it in 2, then you can do it in 2, you know, don't try to do it in 2 in your test, you would probably fail, but the point is, it's not a 3 point turn anymore, it's a turn in a road. And this is something I almost failed my 3rd time on, because I had to do reverse, like parallel park? Yeah, parallel park. So there's like 2 cars here and your car's here, and all you've got to do is reverse into this spot. So I reversed, but then I realised that my back end was a bit far out, so I tried to move the car forward and bring the bum of the car further in, and I got marked down for that, because I should have just reversed in and stayed there and been happy with that. And because I then started to try and manoeuvre the back end of my car in, it put me down as not being confident enough to do it. But I didn't fail, I passed that time. Just about. I think if I'd got like 2 or more minors I would have failed. I very, very much just passed. Nerves. Oh, this one effed me up, so like literally on every driving test. When I'm nervous, the foot that holds the clutch, I forgot that you wouldn't stall if you have an American car, like a, what was it called, automatic car. I clearly drive a manual, and I will always drive a manual, if I can. Might not be able to if the electric cars all become automatic, but yeah, optionally I would always drive a manual car. But I get a shaky leg when I'm nervous, like if I almost crashed my car once, and even then, even though I'd passed my driving test, I couldn't get the clutch anymore because my leg is literally like this, and I'm like trying to hold the clutch on me, it's like this. I think that's the thing, a lot of people that drive manual will tell you that when you first start, your leg will do this weird spasm because it's not used to holding the bite of a car. It's a very weird position if you do not know. But you can get past it, it's just one of those things, you continue to do it and you'll get past it, and now I only get it when I'm nervous, like as I said, when I almost crashed my car, or when I'm having an argument with another car and I'm scared that they're gonna get out, they can't hit me. Yeah. I think another thing that's helpful is, so after I'd passed my driving test, I got my 2 sisters to drive their cars, and then we went down to a parking lot, there was no other cars there, and then I could try like do all the different parking positions with their 2 cars as examples. They weren't in my car with me, they literally just stood and watched their cars. That's all they did. And I just tried to do the reverse, like bay park and parallel park, in between their 2 cars. So that if I hit their car, they wasn't going to be like crazy upset with me, and also they would have shouted before I hit their car. But yeah, it was so that I could practice in a controlled environment, but on my own, which is what I needed. Obviously, that one only works in certain situations, but I've heard of people that they like dad, just after they pass, their dad will sit in a car with them and make them drive down a motorway. This is something, what are they called in America? Like a highway, I think. that I think is really important. My sister is petrified of motorways because she just never does them. Whereas if you're just after passing your driving test, you go on the motorway, then the fear goes out of it. And that's another thing, you just need to keep practicing it. With motorways, you learn how to drive on a motorway now though. Oh, so that's kind of irrelevant. But what I did on the motorway, I literally just stayed in the first lane. My first time, literally, there was a guy going 50 and I knew he was going 20 miles under the speed limit, but I was so scared that I just stayed in the first lane. And I did this a couple of times, and then one day I was like, oh, he's doing my nut in, so I just put my indicator on and moved into the second lane, and I did that, and I was scared, and I just, in the second lane, really scared, like, oh, get out of the car, and then went back in, and I was happy, and I just kept slowly doing that, going around one car, until I was then like, no, actually the car in the second lane as well is going a bit too slow, I'm going to go into the third lane, and it's all about just slowly getting used to things. And I know it's going to take you long. As I said, I failed twice before passing. And I did the same with my theory. I'm not getting into that one. That was not my fault in all fairness. It was, but it wasn't. Yeah, it just takes time. You can do it. It will take longer and it will be stressful, but it'll be worth it when you get your driving test. When you get your driving licence and you can drive whenever you want. And oh, one other thing. Don't take advice of people that aren't driving instructors. This is something that I did, and that's how I ended up scratching my car, was because, mentioning no names, someone told me that I need to turn the wheel earlier when reversing out of a parking space. Because I used to do, like, if this is the parking space, I would reverse all the way out and then turn, which makes it obviously harder because you don't really have much room. But someone said, like, turn earlier, so you, like, start turning here. But I didn't know what they meant, so I turned earlier and just scratched my car on a pole. So if someone gives you advice that isn't actually a driving instructor, don't listen to them. Find out in your own time when you can turn. Because I was furious and I blamed it on that person and I shouted at them, telling them that it was all their fault, and they didn't. They never told you that. They did. Yeah. All you can do is continue to drive. It will take long. Hopefully, if you're watching it, you might have like parents that will let you drive their car. My parents would not let me drive their car. They've never let correction. My mum said she wouldn't let us drive her car. We should ask my dad. But my dad has anger issues and there's no chance I was driving in a car with him being the backseat driver, because he's terrible enough when he's the actual driver. So there was no chance that was happening. But yeah, I had, like, you know, if you have someone that you can like drive around in their car when you're not on actual lessons, obviously that would make it cheaper and better. Obviously do it legally, don't just like start driving in a random's car. Yeah, that's my little tips for learning how to drive. I really wish, at the time I thought, when I just passed driving, I wish I wanted to put like a dash cam in to show how panicky and how horrible it was. But I didn't do it because I didn't have a camera and I was too nervous because I just started driving and I didn't even have a YouTube channel. But yeah, actually on this channel there's a real video of me doing my makeup, and it's literally one of my first videos up, and I did my makeup doing that video to go out for a barbecue with James's work, and on the way back my car broke down and we had to spend 2 hours in the boiling hot sun in the middle of like June or July. On the side of a dangerous road because my car had broke down and I had sunburn because I didn't take sun lotion, because I expected us to be out for an hour and then come home, not be out for an hour and then get stuck on the side of the motorway in midday. Yeah, I've rambled again. I'm sorry. I'm too rambly. I clearly have an isolation talk to the camera as my only form of conversation. That made no sense. I've clearly been in isolation too long because now I'm having fun talking to a camera. Yeah. Sorry it's been so long. I hope you liked. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment below things you want to see or any struggles you've had with your driving, because I guarantee you loads of people have had many different struggles when it comes to driving. Put them below. Let everyone know, because, you know, the more people know and the more that people can figure out how to correct it, the better it is for the people. And hopefully you can put something that you've struggled with and someone can put something else they've struggled with, and you're both like, oh, we've struggled with the same things and we both know a way to help each other. Yes, that's it. I'm sorry, ramble over. Love you. Bye. I'm going to stop saying love you to the camera. See you, bye.